Ladies and gentlemen, this is your stimulus check update that you need to watch until the end because no one else is reporting on it. President Donald Trump's threat to declare martial law is simply a distraction to draw your attention away from your demand and your need for additional stimulus checks. Now, why do I say that? I started thinking, why would Donald Trump and the rest of his advisors, the rest of these cabinet officials who are all clearly accomplished, they have track records, clearly documenting all of their successes, why would they be so dumb if they are smart people as to order uniformed Secret Service officers to physically assault peaceful protesters who were solely holding their hands up and chanting, "I can't breathe, don't shoot." They weren't being violent. They weren't posing an imminent threat. I felt bad for this one Caucasian guy, a Secret Service officer, smashed him on the side of his head with the edge of a shield. Then they pushed him on the floor and they sprayed him with tear gas. What? Just so you could clear people out for a photo op in front of a church where the people who are affiliated with the church don't even want you there? Why would you do something like that? My theory, and this is my opinion, that President Donald Trump needed a made-for-TV spectacle so big that it can drown out your demand for additional stimulus checks. Hear me out. If you look up Google Trends, you will find that as soon as President Donald Trump threatened state governors that he would deploy active duty military personnel to stop the looting and the rioting in states if governors were unable to do so, Google searches for the keyword martial law spiked. You can see on the chart here that the dotted line is clearly surging right now. It's in breakout mode. Nonetheless, if you take a look at queries for a second stimulus check, it was previously spiking, dropped, and then now there's a bit of a demand for it. The demand is increasing. In other words, there's more Google searches for the keyword second stimulus check. So they haven't been completely successful. People still want their stimulus check because it's a need. People need additional stimulus checks. Regardless of these trends on Google search, CNBC and Change Research study found last month that 74% of swing state voters wanted direct recurring payments. They wanted recurring direct payments. They're not even settling for only one additional round of stimulus checks as per the HEROES Act. They want recurring direct payments, more akin to what Kamala Harris and Senator Bernie Sanders are proposing. 53% of Republicans are also supporting recurring direct payments. Mind you, these are in swing states, also known as battleground states. These are states that are up for grabs. Any presidential candidate can win these states. Whoever wins these particular states wins the presidency. That's why you exclusively see presidential candidates campaigning in these states. They don't campaign in New York or Cali because Democrats have those states in the bag, just as Republicans have Texas and Alabama sewn up. You only see them campaigning in Ohio and the states where this poll was conducted, in Michigan, Florida, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. They have to win these states. So these people hold the most heavily weighted vote. And they're clearly saying that they want recurring direct payments. Now, there is evidence that Donald Trump pays close attention to these polls that CNBC and Change Research are releasing bi-monthly. Shortly after these findings were released on CNBC, President Donald Trump, his administration, exclusively and strategically released a statement to CNBC. You didn't find this statement on any other network. No one else on YouTube or anywhere else on the web reported on this except for CNBC and me, as far as I can see, that out of all of the proposals in the HEROES Act, the White House would only likely support direct payments to Americans. President Donald Trump knows that CNBC is the most highly watched business news network due to its extensive stock market coverage. So he put out that message. I guess he wanted to also see what it would do for the stock market. Now, you know that this administration is always looking to boast on how well the stock market is doing in order to show off how well his whole administration is doing with the economy. That's the key thing that all administrations, not only the Trump administration, practically every single presidential administration always looks at the stock market and uses it as a metric to determine whether their administration has been successful in helping the economy. Why do you think that Donald Trump is pushing for capital gains tax cuts? Capital gains tax cuts benefit people who are highly invested in the stock market. It doesn't help us. And regardless of whether the country is burning right now with all of these riots and looting and the peaceful protests that I am supporting by all means, because people have a right to protest peacefully against what was a senseless murder of George Floyd. May he rest in power, rest in peace. Regardless, the stocks are still rallying right now. That's all he really cares about. So he's like, you know what? I can perform another gaffe. I can afford to go ahead and physically assault these people and make noise. I see that the trends are for martial law searches on Google. I'm going to go ahead and give them exactly what all of these people want. I'm going to threaten that I'm going to declare martial law. And even he's just teasing it. And then now it's basically dominating the news stories all over the place. All you see is the Secretary of Defense, that he didn't know that the administration was clearing out people and using the National Guard to just clear out people so the president could walk over to the church for a photo op. He didn't know about that. Other generals are talking against what Donald Trump has done. People affiliated with the church, as I said before, have denounced what Donald Trump has done. He doesn't care because the stock market, regardless of what, is still surging. And the companies that are leading this rally, companies such as Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook. I'm in Adobe 20 long and I'm up 10%. I only use Adobe Premiere to cut up my videos, upload to YouTube. If I'm working on this, I don't have to report to a brick and mortar shop in order to operate Adobe. So these companies are showing phenomenal price performance at this particular moment. They don't depend on whether the looting and the rioting and the protesting slows down the reopening of the entire country. It's only brick and mortar shops. The corner bodega. A guy was crying this morning because in the Bronx, looters raided his store, and now, that they took all of his products, and he was crying. I think he was also suffering, maybe perhaps from the virus or something like that. He was saying that everyone in his family is suffering from this now. He loses work days. His place is demolished. Days where he can sell more products and provide more money for his family. Nobody cares about him. Who knows if he has insurance on the place? Nonetheless, the people that broke into Macy's is insured against all those losses. They even broke into Microsoft. And Microsoft, as I said before, is one of the leaders. But they don't make most of their sales through the store, especially through the entire pandemic. They're making their sales online. And you know that they're insured for that place out in Manhattan. So they're covered. President Donald Trump and the administration, they know that the stock market is safe. There's no problem there. And they take care of these people. Think about it. Even the Federal Reserve, dating back to the Obama administration. Look at the focus on quantitative easing, QE. Basically, the Federal Reserve pumping money into government bonds, hiking up the price, keeping interest rates low while the stock market skyrockets. President Donald Trump rode the same wave. They stopped QE in 2017, and just last year, President Donald Trump was calling for more QE and slashing of interest rates. He was even criticizing the Fed when they were hiking up rates. Look what happens. These Federal Reserve chairmen, they benefit substantially. Alan Greenspan, who used to keep interest rates low, 1 week after he stepped down as Fed chair, Lehman Brothers paid him $250,000 for an appearance at a private dinner. Same day, a Japanese firm paid him $120,000 for a private telechat with their investors. Ben Bernanke clocked $250,000 after he stepped down. Barack Obama, he's making reportedly $400,000 an hour. That's his speaking fee. So why would they care about you and I and our recurring monthly payments? They take care of these people because these people take care of them while they're in office and afterwards. So I figured Donald Trump is like, you know what? Even if I lose, I'm still making out if I take care of all of these highly paid, overly paid executives and all of these organizations. They're still all going to take care of me. So let me go ahead and capitalize on this opportunity to make news. And you know that CNN and the rest of the mainstream media, they're going to follow these trends because they want clicks. They want eyeballs coming from Google and the rest of the internet. So they're going to start writing about martial law like crazy. And they try to dominate. So he's basically trying to drown out your demand for additional stimulus checks. The same collaborative of CNBC and Change Research released another study a couple of days ago that found that there is still support for direct payments, even coming from another form. 60% of swing state voters want an extension of the unemployment assistance, the pandemic unemployment assistance that the federal government is funding. That's a $600 additional bonus that people on unemployment are receiving through July 31st. The White House reported on Wall Street Journal that now they're planning to extend the PUA, or the pandemic unemployment assistance. It appears they're now thinking about slashing the $600 unemployment insurance bonus down to $250 to $300 a week for the rest of the year. Now they're thinking about doing that. They're not even saying that this is something that we're going to do. We're going to think about that this week. In the meantime, everybody's in need for more revenue. You know, people on unemployment, a lot of that unemployment's kicking in as well. So he knows as well. Listen, let me just go ahead and instigate more looting, more rioting, more protests. And people, they have nothing to do right now anyway. Many people, many people don't have a job to get to. Over 40 million people filing unemployment claims. A lot of those unemployment benefits are kicking in. No one has to go to school. So let's go ahead, let's protest, let's loot, let's riot, which I am totally against the looting and the rioting. Nonetheless, peaceful protests, yes, absolutely. You are exercising your rights. Nonetheless, this man does something so ridiculous as to try to strip you of that right, of you peacefully protesting against the government, which is totally called for ever since the Declaration of Independence. Now, if we look at the same study, the one that found where most people in swing states, they're actually supporting the extension of unemployment benefits. Democrat presidential candidate, Joe Biden is only up on Donald Trump by 7 points, regardless of everything that's happening, regardless of the, quote, mishandling of the pandemic, only up by 7 points nationally. When you look at swing states, it looks even worse. Joe Biden is only up by 1 point. Donald Trump is probably looking at those numbers and like, yawning, and he's like, man, listen, I can still beat him. 1 point is chump change. I'll still beat him with two hands tied behind my back, blindfolded. It's practically the same situation that he encountered against Hillary. All the polls across the board found that Hillary practically had the presidency in the bag. Nonetheless, President Donald Trump still won the election. He had dirt on Hillary, and you know he's got dirt on Joe. He's a weak candidate. So he figures I could do anything I want. Just like he said during the last election. I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'll still elect me. He could do anything he wants. So he might as well generate publicity regardless of whether it's bad. Take all the backlash. And the backlash also comes with publicity. The saying goes, all types of publicity is good publicity, regardless of what happens. And he figures he can still take it. He figures he has you in the bag, that you're going to still vote for him. You're going to still support him, and you're going to still make him the next president, regardless of what happens. And that is key for you to take in mind, that you are the one that puts that person into power. You are the one that decides whether Donald Trump occupies the Oval Office. Declaration of Independence guarantees us certain inalienable rights: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Here goes the Declaration of Independence verbatim. Come on, PS book right here. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. From the consent of the governed. You and I, we're the governed. We're the one that puts them in their congressional seats, in the Oval Office. We hire them. They are our employees. See, and I'm holding everybody accountable, not just the Trump administration, all the way down to Nancy Pelosi. She only asked for one more round of stimulus checks, the $1,200 payment that many people are against. People, as you can see, they are supporting recurring direct payments to make ends meet, provide for their families, bring food to the table, do what they have to do so their families can survive and thrive throughout this entire crisis. Nonetheless, she only asked for the $1,200. As I said in the previous video, my theory is that she's part of the stalling facade that Republicans and the administration are working in together with, right? Because the Republicans probably told her, listen, Nancy, we'll give you the $1,200 additional round, only one more round. Don't ask for the $2,000 recurring monthly payments, because then you're not going to allow us to save face when we talk you down from it. Just, we'll give you the $1,200 additional round. Nonetheless, feel free to go ahead and fluff up the rest of the bill with everything in your heart's desire, COVID related or not. We'll knock everything down, call it a liberal wish list. And you've got the money, you're able to take that back to your base. And we'll package something together with everything that we want. Business liability protections and all these other things that Republicans have lined up for an additional round of stimulus. So she's in it as well. I say vote all of them out if they're not doing exactly what they need to do. She needs to be fighting tooth and nail to ensure she provides what the people of this country require. We are red, white, and blue. We're not red, we're not blue. Everything. We rep in every single state. If people with the most heavily weighted votes are stating that they clearly need recurring direct payments, there is a petition out there with over 1 million signatures that they want recurring direct payments. People want recurring direct payments. Why is it that they're not giving us exactly what they want? And they keep on saying, oh, we'll think about it. It's going to take us another month to think about it. Imagine if you, as an employee, told your boss, after he said, listen, when are you going to get me this report? Everyone knows that it only takes you a week to finish that report. Nonetheless, you tell your boss, sir, I'm going to wait another month while I think about the idea that I'm going to include in the report, and then I'll let you know what we're going to do. Imagine you said that. You're not going to keep your job for very long. So hold these legislators and these public officials to the same standard. Get them out. Exercise every single right. Send them letters. Let them know that their job is on the line if they don't do exactly what it is that you need, exactly what you demand, because they work for you. Understand that. They work for you. Forget about all these hints and people hyping you up because, oh, it looks like the White House may support direct pay. May support. That's what we want. You have to support it, man. You have to back exactly what people of this country want. We're the one that pays taxes. It's not your money. It's our money. It's our money. So they have to release whatever it is that we want. They work for us. Otherwise, there's another line right here in the Declaration of Independence that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. If $2,000 recurring direct payments or whatever type of direct payments that are recurring is what is ensuring your safety and your happiness, and you demand it, you have a right to abolish this government, to fire everybody that's in there. Start with a clean slate. Do exactly what you need to do. Exercise every single means necessary. Communicate it by sharing this video. Do it by posting in any format acceptable on your favorite social network. If you think I'm completely out of my mind, or you agree with me, or you agree with some points and you don't with others, feel free to leave your feedback in the comment section below. Watch this video right here for additional stimulus coverage. Click the like button if you like the video. Click subscribe to stay on top of my findings. I will do my best to ensure that I report what other people won't. I thank you so much. May God bless each and every one of you. May God bless the United States of America and everybody else on this planet. Talk soon.